Good morning, everybody online here. We are at my house at the Allied Genetics show barn here. We're going to kick this sale weekend off with a recorded preview that hopefully gives you guys more time than normal to go through and study lots. Just a few brief comments before we get rolling. Everything's mountain time here. Each evening, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 6 p.m., we're going to do in-person previews. If you're coming through in the area, want to make a trip out, we'd love to have you. And then Sunday, the 9th, is sale day. We're going to do a preview at 10, and we'll have lots of time there to do a pretty thorough preview. And then at 2 o'clock is sale time. So we'd love to have you out. We'd love to visit with you and help you through this lots. Most of this set is going to be December 20 through January 5th on the crosses anyways. There's also some Durocs offered. I'm sure we'll describe them at length, so we'll jump right into it. We're going to run them in tag order. And so we're going to kick off with our first pair here. Tag 1, and I need to find some identifying factors so you guys can tell, but my older son, Landon, here is working on the camera with Lot 1, 24-2. This would be a woke, tricked out, dirty South pig. Mama of this one would have been one of the few times we do repeat matings around here. We had that 12 litter that had the aftermarket boar, the gilt that won Exarban, the reserve gilt at Colorado State Fair, as well as several sale qualifiers for us. We repeated that mating. Luke successfully showed that mother. She was a calico. He won our county fair and was High Point Light Cross. Anyways, that's the mom of the 24s. There's a bunch of them. You'll see them today. That'd be tag 1. The other one that my younger son Luke has there coming across screen now would be tag 2. That is 20-4, Wide Awake, Make It Happen. Mama would be our 50K purchase from Kings from Eggers a couple years ago. I've got Ralph Hinton and Ben Cooley, two of my best buds here to help me describe these things to you and for you to get some extra commentary other than myself. I'm going to pass it off and see what they think here this morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. Obviously very humbled to be here and get to talk about these pigs and with one of my two good friends here, and what a way to kick off. Guys, these things come out the gate, and I hadn't had a chance to go back there and see them yet, and these two are absolutely awesome. Great way to start. The one that Luke's on, Lot 2, is one that catches my eye right to start. That's really the maturity pattern of one that I think has so much flexibility in his feeding window. That guy's so incredible looking while still having all the 2025 indicators of extras. I think these two are absolutely outstanding. I'll let Ben get into them a little bit more, but guys, these are high quality pigs. Their shortness of back is good, their skull is great, their bone is appropriate, and then on top of that, they are just so functional and sound. I think two that'll kick us off very, very well.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Weston, for allowing me to be here today. I do appreciate Weston. I made him come up yesterday and do our Facebook Live preview yesterday afternoon, and then he said I had to return the favor, though, and drive down here this morning, which was perfectly fine because I didn't get a chance to talk about Allied Genetics stuff at the Elevate sale. Ralph would have done that as we kind of rotate through, but I'm real excited this morning. I'm kind of with Ralph, though. Right off the bat, that tag number 2, that Wide Awake that, Landon's on over there right now, that one really just strikes an incredible pose. Looks like the Wide Awakes that have been very successful and feed well, balance and kind. And then we come back to tag number 1 that we're going to put on the screen in front of you here that Luke has. I tell you what, that is one stout creature. The woke deal has been very popular, guys, this spring. If you don't have one of those on feed in your barn, you're probably going to regret it come the end of the summer. Two very good specimens to get us started.
So again, in this first group, we have tag 1, 24-2, and tag 2, 20-4. This is our first time recording a preview in this barn. We're trying to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, I guess. Bear with us here as we kind of get in a rhythm. Hopefully we can get through them in a timely fashion, but still give you an opportunity to see them. Next two that drop in here are going to be lots 3 and 4. Lot 3 is 31-1. That would be the pig with the dot on the center of his back that's not on camera quite yet. And then 4 is going to be 20-1. We're going to start there with the tag 3, 31-1. That's another woke litter. I guess I am as high on that boar as any right now. He works so well for us where we got him used. Mama here on the 31s is one I absolutely love that we bought from Moyer at PT. She has the ability to generate absolutely giant-legged ones that are so short-backed, but my favorite part of that sow is her hind leg just reach and push. Anyways, then just real briefly on the other one, that is tag 4, 20-1. That's another one of those 20s. Mate to lot 2 that we already saw. Wide awake, make it happen. Ralph, what do you see in this pair?
These next two come out, and pounds-wise, I'd say we're a little bit smaller here. Maybe the window of feeding expands just a little, but the quality stays very, very good. Man, this pig that Landon's on, this lot 3, is the size of his hind leg. Landon, we're seeing lots of back and forth on the side, but he turns away from you, and the width between his dew claws from behind is absolutely incredible. I think the sky's the limit on how big-legged this guy can be and how stout. He's probably a little more immature in his muscle compared to the first two that we saw, but man, the bone and the pieces, the things that you can't feed in this guy are absolutely incredible. The little guy gets out here and Luke gets him strutting, and the length of his ability to use his hind leg and the length of his stride is really incredible. These two don't fit right in with what we just saw. These are high-end prospects that definitely need to be looked at.
I would echo what Ralph just talked about there. I think the tag 4's on camera right now, guys, that we've already seen a litter mate. What I've seen so far of that 20 litter, I would be in on those. I think they have some versatility, and even though this one probably compared to lot 2 is just a little bit different size, which gives you that feeding flexibility, I do like that one's stoutness. I keep coming back to tag number 3 over here. Again, those Wokes, they just put an absolute neat presence in them, and Ralph is right. Maybe a little more immature in terms of our muscle at this stage of the game, but that one's natural elevation at the top of his blade, yet still being comfortable and flexible in his spine and the way all his bones fit together with a ginormous, hind leg that he uses correctly. That one looks like the kind that you can just take home, feed, and is not going to get you in trouble, and you can push on him when you need to. I'm pretty high on that tag number 3.
So again, on this pair, tag 3 and tag 4. Tag 3 is 31-1, the male pig with the dot on his back. Tag 4 is 20-1, the more chromed up one that's chasing syrup there. As they get this next pin up here, we'll start to talk just a little bit of pedigree there. Tag 5 would be the first 30 litter we were going to see. That'd be a trick clone, wide awake, next, never before, best man. That ties back into the stuff there at Brennings that would have made broken record in the push. Tag 6 is 35-1. That would be the other belted pig. That would be a Driving Force, Young Love, Believe in Me. Mama would have originated from Sloan. She was our favorite gilt when we went out there kind of on the hunt for some, just as babies there. Love the Driving Force pigs so far. They've been very impressive. I have a lot of intention of using him hard again. And then tag 7 is 37-4, the Calico. That would be a trick clone as well for the good out of 143.11 there at Heimers. Of course, maybe, I don't know, best known as Ray Ray's mom. She did a lot for Jesse and crew over the years. We actually bought that one's mom as a bred from Goss at the coronation. So again, 5, 6, and 7. 5's maybe the little one that hasn't been under the tanner there. Far side. 6 is the moderate belt. 7 is the Calico.
These three come in, and I think the feeding window is really up to your imagination on where I think these fit. That you could push them hard and still get to a July deal, and they don't all have to be 280 pounds. I think these fit a variety of sizes, and don't be afraid, even if you have a July County Fair, to still use this kind. I think they're very, very good. For me, the thing that strikes me about all three of them is just their height of shoulder and their cleanliness of their throat is very, very good. But then when you get from there back, these are still ginormous footed pigs that are stout and burly. The one that Landon's trying to get whip broke here is one that catches my eye right out the gate. This guy's proportions are incredible. His length of body versus his height is right on check with where we are in 2025. I think this pig is sound and burly and still stout in his skull. And when you say all those things, it's hard to say he's also still attractive, and I think he is. I think that's a very high-end type of pig. That fits a variety of shows. The Calico is one that's also catches your eye because the size of his forearm when you get off to the side is incredible. He's still an attractive pig that's elevated. He's really big-footed down low. And then the last one that Luke's working on is probably the greenest one at this stage in his top line. But when you get him stretched out like Luke does, that one is still very proportional. He's really correct in the way that his blade ties into his neck. I think three that are extremely, extremely good with a big feeding window.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to add too much more to what Ralph talked about, but he hit the nail on the head relative to just look ahead of their blade. Weston has done an incredible job here. The Ally crew has of trying to make these things very 2025 show pig look ahead of their blade. Done a great job there. I'm kind of with you, Ralph, man. That Calico jumps out here. That one's arm and feature is absolutely incredible with a great skull and the way it ties into the top side of his blade. See quite a bit of potential in that particular male there, and anything that goes back to that pedigree on the bottom side, I get excited about. 3 very nice entries.
So again, I know that we don't have these trained super well. I hope it's coming across, but the one that maybe we talked about being the greenest would be tag 5, 30-2. The moderate belted pig was tag 6, 35-1, and the Calico was tag 7, 37-4. We will get pedigrees and some comments there up for you guys so that you can kind of reference that. I know pedigrees are more important to some buyers and feeders than others. We'll try to talk briefly about that, and also obviously a lot of phenotype. But we're going to drop another pair in here, and we see the first gilt of the offering. She comes in as tag 8, another 20 litter, 20-8, wide awake, make it happen. And then her pin mate here would be tag 9, 31-2, woke, unashamed, the king, best kept secrets mate. So again, the gilt, tag 8, and the male pig tag 9.
These two come out, and the one that catches my eye first is this gilt. I mean, the sharpness of her upper skeleton is already very, very good, but then you normally see a gilt at this size, and you think, okay, she's hard muscled and she has all the muscle. You read it down low, and she has that much back because of the cage that's built on. This thing is still wide and square and opened up. The size of her legs is phenomenal, really attractive. I think that's a very, very special one. That we've seen several of the Unashamed side on the bottom side pigs come through from Weston's, and this thing fits right in. I think that one has value beyond the show ring to be very, very, very special. The little boy pig, I'll leave some for Ben to talk about, but I think this guy is very good. The use of his hind legs incredible. Let's see what Ben has to say on these.
Yeah, I'll jump into that gilt right away. She immediately catches your attention, and I'm probably a fan of the wide awake, make it happen pedigree. Obviously, we had some of those as well, and a very popular boar out there at Crossroads with that pedigree. So maybe I'm partial to that one. Regardless of pedigree, that one is one sexy female that has all the extras that you'd ever want. I'm going to go to this barrow though that Luke's has. That one's roundness of body and center rib cage is absolutely incredible, guys. He's the right proportions from the side. All his pieces fit together. He's comfortable in the way he just handles himself out here on the carpet. But his roundness of body suggests that one is always going to be big-backed. He's always going to have plenty of substance to him. He will feed appropriately. I'm a big fan of this pair right here, Weston.
Again, I don't want to make any excuses, but I do hope that you get the chance to come see them, because by the end of the weekend, hopefully these things are a little more used to chasing and just cooperative, and we'll get you a better look. I know they're a little wild. We were just talking that because of our Elevate sale that I get to do with these guys, we haven't had, it feels like not enough time to truly get to work on this set. But again, tag 8 is the gilt, tag 9 is the male. All right, we drop our next pair in. Again, we have one male and one gilt. The Calico is going to be tag 10, 24-1. Again, mate to our leadoff. This would be a woke tricked again. Love this one's mama. Love this one's litter. Neat pig for sure that fires me up from a proportion standpoint. Tag 11 is probably... I mean, not as ready as maybe she should be, because I am way in on this one. It makes me a little uncomfortable to offer her 31-7. She's a woke unashamed. Ralph, what do you see here?
This Calico walks in the gate, and I've been waiting for this one because I think this is the one that we posted a picture of, and it probably had been posted 3.5 minutes when I sent a screenshot to Weston and said, "What is this?" Because he took not only a phenomenal picture, but he gets out here and he's honestly, it's hard to be better than that picture, but he is that. This is Ralph Hinton's kind. If you want to ever show a pig to me, this is the guy. I mean, he's so incredibly stout between his eyes, but has zero throat. I mean, it's just jaw, thin neck, burly blade. It's hard to put those three things together in that order. He's proportional in his look. He's level in his hip, but it doesn't affect his ability to drive and use his pasterns. I think that's an incredible pig that Weston puts a picture out. Here he is. He strikes off like that. That's an incredible one. The gilt, I'll let Ben talk about that one. She's coming out here now. I'm surprised Weston's letting us bid on this one.
Well, I wanted to talk about the Calico too, but okay, fine. We'll talk about this gilt. I tell you what, a pedigree alone should get you excited, woke, unashamed, but one that is green in her maturity, yet proportions are so right. in her. It's really tough to have one that's that wild ahead of her blade and extended, yet opens up into a round body cage, length of back, length of hip, hind leg set. It all matches, it all blends together. That one you take home, you feed, she continues to get better, she'll bulk up, you can push her, you can manage her, whatever you need to do. Her proportions will never be off. And then you go back to the Calico, yep, just get in and bid early and often on that one. He can win a lot of shows.
So again, Calico male pig would be tag 10, 24-1. Belted gilt there would be tag 11, 31-7. Both wokes with different mamas, of course. Next, we're going to jump into a set of 3, I believe, is what they're going to bring us. This 22 litter has been absolutely exciting since, I don't know, maybe a week old. We've been looking forward to showing you guys these. We didn't use a ton of picture perfect, and we thought that this sow was the place to do it. Just in terms of, for me, I guess, finding picture perfects that are this dense but still bring to the table what he does so well has got us excited. The one that's closest to the camera is going to be tag number 12, 22-2 male pig. His brother there is maybe the even more robust cage one that's on the AI rod. That would be tag 13, 22-4. And then pin mate would be tag 14, 21-1. That would be a Moneyline Secret Society blurred sow. We bought her for $20,000 from the source as a bred, and she's done a good job for us. We'll see if we can get them spread out and posed up for you. Boys, what do you see?
When I got this sheet here this morning, this is one of the litters that I wanted to see because, frankly, I have a littermate sow to this. So I was excited to see what these guys look like. And Weston's right. They're so incredible in terms of their denseness and squareness. Lot 12 is one that for sure for me catches my eye. The size of his bone, and we talk about bone, and we just say one's big-legged, and we probably don't describe the differences of that bone. That one is always going to be big-legged in my mind. It starts at his feet. He stays big in his ankle. He's big in his blade, and it is so square in the way that it starts at the top of his blade, knee to ground in his chest. I think that one is incredibly stout. He's still attractive. His proportions are really, really good. I think that one catches my eye right off the bat. The half-belted pig is another one that I think is incredibly burly. That looks like a Weston Charles pig to me. And I mean that in such a complimentative way, that he is so round in his cage and big at the point of his blade. And Weston me and him talk about skull and different things a lot. That one's incredible in terms of the width between his eyes. I think this is a really good trio of pigs that need to be studied on just the fundamentals with extras.
I would echo what Ralph talked about there. We studied the 2 picture perfect male pigs, 12 and 13. I think they're on camera right now. You can see them both. Guys, it's very, very challenging to have pigs that are silhouetting the way they do and all their pieces kind of match and come together, and yet they are still very, very stout, and I love their head shape, and I can't express that enough. You get 5 seconds to make a first impression as you come into the ring with a show pig nowadays, and the judge either gives you an up arrow or a down arrow, and you got a chance with these two. Those two come in, nose is in the air, head is up, great skull shape, chest view, big arms, and immediately you're in the driver's seat. You get to go to a pin. That's all you need to worry about right there with that pair. Very nice trio.
So again, the 2 that the belt wraps all the way around would be the picture perfects, 12 and 13. The broken belt pig would be 14. Again, a trio that we like a lot, and we hope you get the chance to see him in person or reach out if you have any questions. The next trio we get to jump into the 35 litter on a pair of them. Tag 15 is 35.6, a male pig. Again, that's the Driving Force Young Love Believe in Me. 16 would be 35.7, the first gilt we've seen there out of that litter, I believe. And then tag 17 is another one of those 24s. Quick note on him, he's got just a nickel of kind of skin issue that it's getting cleared up. Honestly, the boys, they were like, Dad, it's okay if he doesn't because we want to show him. And I said, no, that's not how we roll. We're going to offer him. We'll get his skin right. But anyways, 15, 35.6, 16, 35.7, the gilt. 17 would be the lone 24-3 in this trio.
3 come in, and I think the opportunity here on ones that can fit a variety of shows. For those of you guys that are looking for ones that you can lean on and get to a July County Fair, or hold them back and go to State Fair. I think these are probably as versatile from a size standpoint that we've had out here, that you can really let the pig decide where they want to show, or you can lean on them and make them do the things that they need to. I actually, now that he gets out here, this one that's a little funky skinned at the moment is very, very good. The size of his feet is incredible. Everything's in the right place. It's hard to say that in 2025 that one is complete and not use that in a negative way. I think this one still has extras, but all the things are in the right place. His use of his hind leg, the use of his blade, and the size of his feet still all fit together. I think these are 3 that have a big show window. You decide where to show them.
Yeah, well, you talked about that 24, and I echo exactly what you said there, Ralph. I think, if I was a buyer, I'd be happy. You bet keep that skin just a little rough there, Weston. We can steal that one maybe on sale day. But I'm going to jump over to these Driving Force pigs. This gilt with the spot in her belt, I'm in. And then there's a sow on the bottom side there, a Young Love, who I think we've talked a little bit about Young Love. We did that yesterday. And then I've talked with, Doug Albright about that. Those sows, those females, make them good. That one is hairy, dense, burly, proportioned right, and uses a very good hip and hind leg. I'd be in there. I think you could probably have a nice show gilt when it's all said and done, and then some elite genetics on the top side.
So I don't know if the camera picked it up, but the tag 15 would be the traditional belted male that has just a nickel of a darker kind of birthmark there on his neck. Then his mate sister is the gilt with the big dot on her back. Those are the Driving Forces, 15 and 16. And then 17 is the wider belt one with more white. Quick note on that guy. I think that that one reminds me so much of just the best wide awakes we've had. I know he's awoke, but just those giant ankles, the ones that are tall, I have a lot of confidence in that one in the way he's going to feed. Okay, we jump down to another pair of 37s. We have tag number 18 and tag number 19. 18 is going to be the one closer to the camera. That would be 37-5. This pig has had me fired up since he was born. He might be the pound's lightest pig in the sale. I just couldn't help myself but to show him to people. He's got the white tip tail. 19 is 37-2. This guy has got wavy, shaggy hair already as a baby. I can't imagine what it's going to look like. Again, these are trick 4s. I guess our Arizona barrow in that 37 litter was a trick clone. I love these things, and maybe I'm overdoing it, but I'm going to continue to use those clones. I just think that they bring so much good, and when mated appropriately, this sow that we bought at the Coronation is as big-legged and as big-bladed as anything out there in the sow lots. I just couldn't help myself but try it. Again, 18 and 19.
Yeah, Weston's not kidding about the hair on lot 19. That it's incredible actually on how much he has, and it's like not just wavy, but it's that dense kind of hair. I know we don't need to spend all day talking about hair, but when it is that out there, and if you want to, that is a criteria for you on baby pigs, here he is, because he's got a ton of hair. But when you get past that, that's still an extremely stout pig that's appropriate in his muscle. He's appropriate in his length of body. And then we've talked a lot about just being big in your feet and your ankle, and letting that bone be an indicator of, are you going to keep your bone or is it going to go away? Because that's always seems to be the struggle or the sort when you get into a barn that has a bunch of pigs, is okay, here's the ones that kept their bone, and here's the ones that didn't. And it's so hard to figure that out on a baby pig, and I definitely don't have the answers for that, but I think it really falls down to getting down lower about that bone. Is it big in their ankle? Is it big in their feet? And that guy is very good in that department, and still can stretch out and give you a great look from the side.
Yeah, we'll jump back over to the more moderate one, tag number 18. I can see why Weston was fired up about that white-tailed male pig right there. That one's proportions are incredible, guys. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. One that has that much stoutness and skull and bonework in him, and yet his length of back and length of rump structure all match, where I think you can, Weston and I talked about it yesterday, at the end of the day when you're marking a card, right? You don't actually cross a scale, you just have to mark a card. That one's always going to look bigger than what he probably is, and that just gives you an advantage in those type of shows, i.e. Colorado State Fair, wherever that might be. I'm a big fan of those. Again, we talked about trick clones yesterday, Weston, and how they're still making fantastic pigs that win. There's no exception with this pair.
I know there being knuckleheads out there, but the slightly smaller one there that's really burly would be tag number 18. The wavy-haired guy would be tag number 19. We're going to jump next to the same pin, same kind of size of pig here. We've got a mate sister to evaluate, who would be tag 20, 37-7. Again, trick 4 for the good, 143.11. And then we get to look at tag 21, 35-8, another female, Driving Force, Young Love, Believe in Me. Just to help you identify them here, the tag 20 is going to be the wider belt gilt. The more traditionally belted would be tag 21.
These two are some of the, in the smaller size of ones that we've looked at, but I think that opens up the window on what their feeding window is. The wider belted gilt coming across now is one that's so proportional in her length of body to height ratio. Her bone is incredible. I think this one's feeding window is huge. I think that her length of body and the kind that she is will keep you in the window of feeding for a very long time. So I think this one from end of August throughout the fall, I think this one can go for a very long time. And she's so stout, so proportional, and so correct in her build that I think this one keeps you right there for a very long time. The other gilt that's going to come across that's more traditionally belted, one that's really attractive. I'll let Ben talk about her a little bit more, but both of these are very good gilts that need some high-end homes.
So if we just step back and just study pedigrees for just a minute, and I'm a pedigree junkie. We'll see which one's on camera right here in front of me, right? 21 Driving Force. We just need to look in there. Those Driving Force pigs, guys, have been absolutely wonderful feeding hogs. You talk about one that can still make them moderate and clubby in their kind, Yeah, and then have a long feeding window. I think immediately you're drawn to that gilt. Yet she's not just some short little boxy one that's going to be quick. That one's length of front end, length of hip looks like, hey, we can just keep on feeding that one. She's always going to have an attractive look. And then the little girl right here, that would be tag number 20, correct? Yeah, obviously. That's a pedigree on the bottom side I like quite a bit. That one is going to be burly, guys. That one's rib cage is perfectly round. There's no question that one is going to have substance and power to her entire life. She'll generate that way. She'll show that way. She may be just a little bit pounds lighter and smaller than a couple of her friends earlier, but I'm telling you what, I'd jump in on that one. She looks like she has a long feeding window.
Just to kind of echo what Cooley talked about there, I think Driving Force did everything we hoped in terms of moderating a little bit, but I've been so surprised at just how neat fronted those pigs have been. And then you dig into that pedigree and the believe in me in there makes sense. I guess that's where I think even a little bit of that extra look is coming from. But we dump another trio out here, and this pin has a little color. We're going to look at 22, 24, and 25. So 22 is the gilt on the syrup, if you can get to her there. That would be 24-5. Again, we've seen some of those 24s already. This one is scary in how much she reminds me of those 12s we had, and then, of course, the repeat mating where her mom comes from in terms of just a presence that is wild. She is neater looking than her mom ever thought about being, but is the same kind of just burly, dense. This one is one that I guess fires me up quite a bit. As well, in the pin here, we have tag number 24 would be the other calico. She's got less black. That would be another one of the 20s, Wide Awake Make It Happen. And then finally, when we get to him there, or get to her, excuse me, we'll talk about tag 25, 37-1 would be the belted gilt in this trio of pigs.
25 is a we'll get that corrected. That is a barrow. So
I have it wrong on my sheet.
I got it for you, Weston. Don't worry about it, man. I'm here for you. The gilt I want to talk about for me is the one that Weston talked about first, and that's lot 23 here, or 22. Sorry, 22. That one, he's exactly right in reminding him of those 12s, specifically like even the gray pig, I think it comes to mind here, that showed that year, that ends up being reserve at our state fair in the breeding show, that it's not only are they good looking, but that one has an extra inch of neck. I mean, it is incredible how long she is from her blade to her nose, and I don't want that to ever come across that she's a long-faced one, because she's definitely not. That thing is very, very stout-skulled. She's so attractive. This is the kind that if you can take home, and the feeding plan is simple. You get her fat, you get her chubby, and then she goes out there and is just that much better looking, and then you make her as burly as the rest of them, and they don't make a feed supplement to make their neck that long. They haven't come up with one yet. You got to start with it, and she's incredible there. A really good trio of pigs.
Obviously, Weston doesn't have to sell me on the fact about what that 12-liter was that year. We bought a pair of them, including aftermarket, and then there was a gilt we showed that year that was very, very successful. And I'm immediately drawn, yes, to that 24-5, lot 22, woke back on that pedigree. I would tell you, if you want to be successful in the light cross division on our circuit this year, or where that one will classify that way, just jump in and you could be very successful. That one has quality. Real quick, let's go to the male over in the corner there. That's another one of those for the good. Back on that sow, roundness of body and rib cage is absolutely incredible on that guy. He will always be stout. He will always be burly. That one is going to feed. Again, that's tag number 25, if I remember correct. Yes, the male. Okay.
And then finally here, Luke on the syrup has 24. That would be the 20-9 Wide Awake Make It Happen. I think we described the others, and hopefully you can differentiate between them there on this trio. Next, we're going to see a litter we haven't got to talk about yet. We're going to jump in 19 litters. These would be wide open, sold, never before dirty secret. Mama would have come from Boble there at King's Purchase. They are somewhat similarly marked, so we'll try to help you here. Tag number 26 is going to be the one I think is kind of closest to the camera. Male pig. Now he's running away. Luke will work on him. That'd be 19-1. The other male pig there, kind of beside him, would be 19-4, tag 28. And then their sister is right in between in lot order. She's 27, 19-7. She has a little more white kind of on her belly there, if that helps you identify them. So, again, they're all 19 litters. Those would be wide opens back on our Soul Never Before Dirty sow from Boble, 26, 27, and 28.
So this one, I was going through the sheet when we got here this morning. This is one that I was very excited to see. This time last year, this sow didn't have very many of them. And so I fed one of the only ones I think that walked out the door here. And I remember walking Weston over to her pen at a county fair and said, this is out of that Boble sow. And that thing fed so incredibly well. They continued to get stouter, they continued to get bigger legged, and they continued to just be more proportional. So these ones, I think, really excite me from that standpoint, that they're attractive, they're proportional in their width, and they're stout. Now, they're a little bit greener than some of the ones that we've seen so far, but after feeding one of those out of that sow, I know that they're going to continue to get stouter. And talking to them as a group, these things have extra hair. I know we pointed at one earlier that had some hair. These things have very good hair. They're very stout down low. They're proportional. I like these three quite a bit. I put a star next to all three.
Yeah, Wes, I remember when you guys bought that particular gilt. She was a world record seller at the time there at King's, and I was very excited about the possibilities of what that one would do. If we pan over there to that barrow that Landon has there, I'm in. We just need to feed that kind, and that one right there, everything balances and matches together. And you're right about the hair. And we had some, we were talking about some wide opens yesterday, and it must all come from him, because that hair they have is absolutely incredible. And I'm not one to, we're not judging on hair, guys. That's not the final decision. But if you want to get noticed immediately when you drive a pig into the ring, whether it's at a jackpot or at the final show, if that skin and hair doesn't look right, you're beat, period. Okay? And so I'm telling you, what tag number was that one over there, Landon, the far one? 26. Yeah, just put about 10 stars by that one.
We'll keep them rolling here for just a second so you can see them. It's interesting when, I guess, some sows come with hair and some don't. The Soul Never Before sow that set the world record, she was ahead of her time. The fuzz on her legs, she actually got to show just for a short amount of time. And when I saw her there, I could not believe at that point that might have been the hairiest legged baby I had ever seen. So maybe it's wide open, maybe it's both sides. I guess, too, I need to point out, this sow's look blade forward. I don't want to only talk look, but if you see that 19-1 or even his sister, she's got such a unique ability to make their neck tie in so high to their blade with this short horn heifer neck, and then all of a sudden there's this little wide-eyed mug on the end of it, and you're like, huh? It just doesn't necessarily happen all the time. Love that guy's profile. I know they're, again, kind of similar and bunched up. Hopefully that comes across on screen. Again, 26, 27, and 28. All right, we jump in with a bit more color here. We've got a couple calicos coming in next. We've got one that's trying to run back and doesn't want to show off. But tag number 29 is the one on the breeding rod there. That would be a 37-8 gilt. And then tag 30 is kind of hugging the wire mesh there. That would be 19-11. It was interesting. Sometimes I get excited as a breeder when I see a -11 because it was crazy. You know how it is. You get in your highs and lows throughout breeding season. We had a bunch of pigs born there right there Christmas Eve or the day before, and man, we just caught a string of good luck. There were some big litters that we've talked a lot about already. But again, 19's on the syrup. That would be 37. Tag 30 would be, again, the wavy-haired 19-11.
These two gilts come in here, and guys, these have to get you excited. And just in terms of doing things that are so incredibly hard to do. We've talked, Weston said we don't want to talk too much look, and he's 100% right because all of his pigs have done that so well today. But the gilt, what's this one here? That one there on the breeding rod. 29. That one's length of body is absolutely so hard to make, guys. If you've been breeding pigs for a long time, it's hard to make them that attractive, that tall-shouldered, and then be almost unnatural in terms of their length of body in the middle. She's so incredible from that standpoint that her proportions and the way that she balances up is so good. Her length of hip is right. It's hard to make them short in the middle and long on the edges. We all like to talk about it, but it's harder to do. Easier to say, hard to do. I think that one does that incredibly well.
Again, a pair of calico gilts that just jump out here, and I don't know whatever your end goals are when you're the buying public may be, right? And you may say, all right, I need a jackpot pig. I need one that's going to be ready maybe at the county fair that can go win. Maybe you're retaining some back into your herd. One thing that this crew at Allied Genetics has done extremely well is in their purchases and in their building of this program here, they have tried to capture elite genetics on the bottom side that generate year after year after year, and you can see it in the quality consistency in this pair that run out here. They are out of two different sows, a little bit different programs on the bottom side of both those pedigrees, and yet you can see the similarities of generating ability, as Ralph was talking about, of trying to put hard pieces together. Guys, when you're buying from this firm, you're buying proven genetics that work. Just get in where you fit in, and you're going to be happy with the results.
So again, the one that kind of posed for the camera would be tag number 29, 37-8. The one that ran around kind of crazy would be 30, tag 30, which would be 1911. The next pair we're going to bring out is a pair of gilts as well. We get back to some black and white ones here. Tag 31 would be another one of those 22s. Again, that would be one of those litters I talked about that we were blessed with really big and deep size. We saw some of those earlier. And then tag number 32 is 31-6. 31 is the one that is a broken belt, more white on kind of her belly and underline and her forearm. 32 is kind of chromed up, and the white makes it all the way around her. Ralph, what do you see here?
These two come in, and I immediately start thinking about somebody is going to take this 32 gilt home for less money than she's worth. I promise you, because that was one of the skinnier ones maybe that we've seen in just in terms of muscle right now. But when you read her lower skeleton, that's the kind that Weston goes on a tour here in a month and goes and sees that one, and then calls his friends and says, there's one over here. And she's very, very good, and she didn't cost very much because she was skinny at the beginning. Do not miss that one. The shape of her blade and the shape of her arm down low and the size of her hind leg is incredibly good. Don't let baby pig muscle be the guide on that one. Look at the lower portions of her body. That one is going to be very, very good. I'm excited to see where that one ends up because I think that one has very, very special pieces. The other gilt is one that is more advanced in her fluff, but still so incredibly good looking up front. The length of her hip is right. She uses her joints well. I think a really good pair here.
Yeah, I would say Ralph kind of stole my thunder. I was going to have the same type of speech ready relative to this pair out here, and certainly the tag number 32, that 31-6, Woke Unashamed. You probably get her under the money, and maybe this is for the buying public out here. We all know what looks fun to buy on sale day, right? If they have shape and bloom, I mean, those things we understand are very exciting. But look at pedigrees, look at the type and kind they are, look at their balance and the way they fit everything together. Bones don't change. You got to buy it right. Skeleton doesn't change. It doesn't get better with a feed bucket. As soon as they can find a feed supplement that makes their bones bigger and their skeleton better, I don't have to raise pigs anymore. I'll just sell that supplement.
More expensive than Game On.
That's right. It'll be more expensive than Game On right now. But so until we figure that out, buy ones that are built right. That gilt is built right, and I guarantee you'll be happy in about a month. You're right, Ralph.
All right. As they get these out, we're going to change gears a little bit and look at some red hogs. I guess if you know our program, you know that I am a crossbred guy through and through. I always think that that's just the place to spend most of our focus. But I also have 3 kids and a wife who, several years ago, kind of outvoted me. So we ventured into the red deal, and we got really lucky and very fortunate that our foundation sow has turned into a generator who has done us more good than I ever imagined. We were going to show at Expo, had to have purebred to take across, bought one out of Olson's firm there, Ben and Chuck, and she's been awesome. So to talk these, tag 33 is going to be the gilt. That's 34.6. She's a all the way up the limit hammer. Real quick, I guess, her mom was the champion Duroc at our state fair in the gilt show. Her sister would have been shown by Strombergers there at Kansas City and was reserve champ gilt at Kansas City in the hammer sow's very first litter. This pedigree would also be responsible here more recently, I guess, for having a top 5 there at San Angelo a couple weeks back. Anyways, and then the tag 34 would be the male pig out here. That'd be 42.2. This would be Waymaker on the hammer sow herself. I'll be honest, I haven't even quite got these clipped. I'm convinced that Durocs are more crazy because they can't see anything because of their ears. So bear with us here. We're going to see if we can get you a good look. I am proud of these. We had a ton of Durocs. We narrowed it down to 6 in this sale. Let's see what the boys think.
I'm stealing the mic first from Ralph on this breed because it is one that I've been passionate about. I do have passion for these purebreds. And Weston, if you just want to take tag 33, that gilt, you don't have to clip her up and you can blow a hawk or something for me. That's fine because I will steal that one. That's good livestock right there. That's an amazing Duroc female with an incredible skeleton. I love that one's bottom side pedigree. I think I bought one last year out of that hammer sow, if I remember right, that I've got at home. Yep. Yeah, you just mentioned all the way. I remember when you called me because I didn't think you had seen him at Laird's. They hadn't gotten him yet, right? And I was out at their later preview, and you said, "Hey, what's the stuff like? Kind of the new boars you hadn't seen yet?" And I said, "Well, there's a Duroc that is the stoutest creature I've ever seen in my life. We've bred to him actually. I bred your gilt to all the way that I bought from you. I'm telling you, this one right here, yeah, it's the answer." Nothing to take away from the male, but if you're in search of a Duroc female, just buy this one. You'll be happy.
Well, I'm not afraid to talk about the boy pig. Guys, buying baby Durocs is something that I think is maybe one of the most difficult things to do. The guys that do it well always seem to make the rest of us look like we don't know what we're doing. But I do know one thing, that when they are that short-bodied and that burly and still attractive in this breed at a young age, you're going to be in the right place at the end. That guy is so square underneath and stout. I think that he opens up the feeding window a little bit because of his denseness and burliness. This is a really good pair of Durocs, Weston. Nice job.
So again, on screen, we have tag 33, 34-6 as the gilt. That'd be all the way. And then and then grandma there would be the mom of tag 34, 42-2, and that would be out of Waymaker. I agree. All the way at Laird's is just different. And after seeing this first set of them, currently I probably after this preview am going to go put more all the way that's in the cooler and a couple red sows again. Very excited about what that board's going to do for us. That leads us into our next pair. These are two more 34-liter males, tag 35 and tag 36. All the way up the limit hammer.
Yeah, we'll just jump right in. You know, I think the one that Landon has over there, what tag is that one, Landon? 36. That one probably just has a little more stuff to him right now. I mean, I think Ralph's comment earlier of you have one that is still that attractive and has extension ahead of their blade. And we were talking about Durocs earlier before we started the preview. It tends to be right now either they're really stout and maybe don't have enough look, or they have a good look and they certainly don't have enough stoutness to them. That one has both. That one has both. That one is a long-necked, neat-looking one ahead of his blade, yet it is a big rib cage that's tied into that guy. He's stout in his pin set, and then he still takes his hind leg correctly from his pin set to his hock to the ground and keeps it underneath himself. Again, I don't know how you want to assess feeding windows and all of that kind of stuff on red ones. I do think it is a challenging deal sometimes to figure out, where they're going to end up. I say put them on feed. They'll tell you when they're going to be ready. I like this pair quite a bit.
Yeah, these 34s, guys, I probably spend as much time studying hind legs on baby pigs than I do anything else. Because I still want it to be right because it's going to bother me later. These guys probably know that more than anybody because I talked to them about it. That I don't know if I've found a hind leg that I can't criticize. But the thing that these 34s do so incredibly well, and Ben said it, is that the organization of their hind leg is very, very good. That it uses the hip, then it uses the hock, then it comes down and uses the pastern. All of these out of this 34 litter, that gilt we just saw, and then these two male pigs do that so well. And in this breed, I think that's probably as hard as anything to do, is to get all of that to run in the right order and still be stout and burly at the same time. Two really, really good barrows. I think if you're looking for something to go to Colorado State Fair in this division, look in here. I think these fit.
So let's see. The 34s would be I should have looked. Kind of mid-Jans, I'm going to say there. It makes me happy to hear Ralph discuss hind leg on these reds, because I guess that's what I'm the most proud of. That was one of my biggest hesitancies jumping into this breed. Is I am similar-minded in terms of hind leg is my number one quality sort on almost all swine, and I think that maybe we've got a little bit of a sow line here working. That's where they may be the most unique, is hip and hind leg. We're going to, if you've been here, we have kind of two wings. We're switching sides of the barn, which doesn't matter to you on screen, but it does allow us here. We're going to go from young red ones to some older pigs. And I don't want to get lengthy here, but tag 37, would be the final 2 litter that we're going to sell this year. We have a sale together called Elevate. We mentioned that earlier. We sold 5 brothers to this particular lot. One of them brought $39,000 and is going to be a boar there at Halfins. And pedigree there is going to be heavy hitter, in-game, Little Bro. Mama, this is her second litter. In her first litter, and we've got the other one on screen. I'll get to him in a second. But to finish on the twos, Mama would have just raised our 37 litter from the summer, which would have included the Grand at Arizona, the Grand at Cheyenne, a sail-making barrow at Denver, a lot of jackpot success at Amarillo, Jingle Bells. There was a gilt that made sail there at Phoenix. One of those litters that you just don't get the opportunity to be a part of that often. Anyways, this is the final one. I hope he shows off. I think he can hang with his brothers. Love that guy's proportions. Real quick on the other one that you saw earlier, kind of the wilder chromed up deal, that would be an 18. He's tagged 38. That would be a tricked out clone on tricked out Dirty South Little Bro. So that mama would have came from that 12 litter. We spent so much time talking about full sib to the mama of the 24s. Anyways, I couldn't help myself. She was always the short back burly one. We just went nuts and went tricked out on the top side. And I kind of like it. I'm pretty excited about it. Interested to hear what the boys say.
Guys, if you haven't heard about what Weston's 2 litter yet, you probably weren't paying attention. They set the world on fire here a couple of weeks ago in Greeley, and the fact that there's still one here for sale is really incredible. And honestly, there's no gap in the quality here of what was at Elevate and then this guy. I imagine he just missed the bus. He was late to the bus that day and didn't get on the bus. Here's another opportunity to get in on a litter, on a sow that we're probably going to be talking about for a long time. If the depth of the first litter was any indication of how much they won, and then they come out here in the second go and they look like this, they sell like this, and then I think that they are going to win at that same pace. Guys, this is another opportunity that's very, very special. And then Weston says he kind of likes it. This other one is special. I'm going to leave some for Ben to talk about. That's a different looking pig. What's the new 2025 Weird? Is that what we're supposed to say? Sure. That one is different, guys. That is a special pig. Probably a feeding window that can go for, you hold him, he's short enough body to do so. I think that's a very special pig too.
Yeah, we could talk about the pigs. I think we've done that extensively in both of those individuals, both those males. Again, I think if you're looking for pigs that can be ready a little earlier, Weston, we talked about it yesterday. We were probably running out of options, guys. If you need stuff that's ready the end of July, early August run that's going to be a big heavyweight, these two can still fit that mold. Real quick, as we come back to the two, we've talked about that litter. They were fantastic. More importantly, I want to mention something real quick, and I hope I don't offend Weston or anybody in the program here, but Weston and Jessica and Derek have built an absolutely phenomenal set of sows and females here at Allied Genetics. However, Weston, remind me, this one goes back to old stuff of your program. When I say old stuff, that's not the right term for it. I'm telling you, the Little Bro sow. Weston was well on his way, Weston and Jess, to building a phenomenal herd around this pedigree several years ago before they kind of became Allied Genetics. And it's neat to see the progression of this pedigree and what you guys have done with it, because I'm telling you, that 2 litter was phenomenal. And there were several that day I was very excited about. Obviously, the boar pig. I thought there was a very unique barrow in there. This one's right in line with them. I didn't know you were hiding one back here at the farm, but I'm glad he's still here for sale, because if you guys are searching for one, here he is, and a nice pair.
So again, the 2 litter there that Landon was driving with the stick is tagged 37. The kind of wilder belted one there was tagged 38 18-1. And I hope it comes across on screen. Like they mentioned it, as you would guess by ear notch, they are slightly bigger than maybe what we had been looking at there coming off those Durocs. We're going to dump in a trio of all sorts of kind of different, from three different litters, I should say. We've got tag 3915-2. This is the solid black one, completely solid black. He would be a crypt. The more traditionally wide belt pig there, that would be 8-4. Airstrike, next intention. And then the one with white front feet that's mostly black would be 41 3-2. So really quick to back up, the 15 litter pig would be Tricked 4 on Turnin' Tricks, Secret Society out of a gilt. The belted pig is going to be Airstrike next. That is the only next intention sow we have on the farm. She would have just raised the reserve Division 2 cross. That'd be the division that the champion cross comes out of at San Antone. Kelton buys that one and puts it in an awesome home. And then finally, the 3-litter pig would be the one with white front feet. We sold most of those mates at Elevate. Again, a driving force litter that has us excited for their future.
Ben mentioned it earlier, and I think it still holds true here, that if you have an earlier county fair, I'm talking middle of July type of fair, these are still in that zone. If you haven't got one found and you have a mid-July county fair, you need to look in here because they can fit that. I gravitate toward the all black pig. I think that one's just combination of look, dense pieces in terms of his skull and his feet, and then still really, really flexible. This guy's got some power when he turns away from you, and I think that's a good thing, that he's still a big hog that's wide and square. He's dense in the way that he's built. I think these are three that are very, very good. Look in here on ones that have a big feeding window.
Yeah, I think we go back to the belted barrow there that's on camera. What tag is that one again?
That's the 8-litter tag.
8-litter tag 40 there. Airstrike. I guess I have to talk about Airstrike because I came out of a gilt that I judged there that was a $110,000 one at Expo a couple years ago that was very, very good. And I'm telling you what, guys, get on a tangent for just a minute. When we talk about pigs that can be ready, as Ralph said, middle of July to end of July, still be a big one. That one's feet and legs run right. He's comfortable. He's square. He's not going to get you in trouble. And sometimes I think we gravitate toward these extreme pieces as babies, right? Because it's fun to look at and they're extreme and it's fun to sell them, right? However, at the end of the day, if you have some that have enough of everything and are not messed up, they win. They win county fairs all the time. All three of our firms have made a lot of bread and butter by just making pigs that are not messed up, that are good feeding hogs. That's one of them there. His roundness of body, I think, is still right. He's extended. He can be a heavyweight. Three very good big pigs you need to look in here.
Okay, so again, that pin has 39, 40, 41. 39 solid black, 40 is the wide belt, 41 would be the white-footed, mostly black pig. Next, I'll try not to get long-winded here, but we're going to look at a new litter, the 17s. We have a male and a female here. These would be out of a bred I bought from Brockman. I should put her picture somewhere, just that would save us all some time. This thing's silhouette is incredible. I couldn't help myself but own her. So she would be a Here I Am Kingpin House Money. She'd be a 159 at the Brockman crew. The write-up on this sow and this pedigree could be so ridiculously long. She is the mother of Kingdom Come. Her sister raised the Reserve Grand at San Antone, Champion Hamp at Houston. You go in there, there's boars like Judgmental, Major League, all from this sow line. Golly, you even get a shot of the House Money sow back in there. There's so much just loaded in there. The Brockman crew has slayed it with these things and in this sow line. But maybe more importantly to you guys, I hope you can appreciate what Josh did when he put a sow with this kind of flexibility with the wild pieces Breathtaker brings to the table. The male pig's broken belt would be tag 42-17-1. The perfect belted, solid black-legged on her back feet there would be the gilt tag 43-17-3.
We haven't had a chance to, on mic, make fun of Weston for his sale order because these things are very, very good. So here I am making fun of you about your sale order. The off-belted barrel is the one I'm going to talk about. And guys, I think this one's probably, compared to his sister, is not as rolled up in his back. He's not as expressive in his shape up high, but this one reads like he is going to be an absolute man someday, guys. The width between his blade and the dimension that this guy has through the center part of his body is absolutely incredible. When he takes a step, you can watch all of the angles of his blade work so incredibly well. He's probably not as smooth in his top line right now as the Gilt, but man, I think this guy is going to be a man because of his proportions, his width, his dimension, and then he still uses his hind leg, and all of his joints and angles are in the right position. I think this guy is going to be very, very good. I love his size. We sometimes will use the word tweener, that this one fits a variety of shows because he is sound enough. You can push and lean on him and go early, and I still think his proportions allow him to go into a later show as well. I think a lot of flexibility in the barrel. I'll let Ben talk about the Gilt.
And guys, Breathtaker is one of those boars that we looked at a couple summers ago when we saw him at Moyers, and scary was the term I had because that one had some wild outlier pieces, and Weston is exactly right. Going back on that sow of Brockman's, the way Brock bred him, fit. And if you just study this Gilt right here, guys, I don't think you understand. I hope that you can see it on camera, how much feature that one has. And it starts up at her nose and her skull, the width between her eyes and ears up top there, the arm shape she has, her hind leg, and yet still I think everything balances and fits together in proportion as Ralph just talked about. I don't think you have to go very fast with that one. I think you can just take your time, be nice and easy. Probably not a lot of protein on that one's a diet the way you want to feed her, but that one's always going to look ready, be ready. She's perfectly belted. Oh, an elite pedigree to boot allows you to probably have one in the end if you're pedigree hunting that you're excited about it to be in a breeding program.
Again, male pig 17-142, the belted Gilt, tag 43, 17-3. I know we all do it as breeders. I'm sitting here panicking that we're not getting the views you need. I hope you can see them, but please reach out if you have any questions, concerns. We'd love to show them to you. We'd love to try to get you the looks you need. You talked about sale order. Honestly, if my pins would have allowed it, this is the pair too that I really was trying to find a spot to get earlier, because I hope nobody's waiting on these, because they're different pedigree for us a little bit, but man, they kind of fire us up. So we're looking at tag 44 and 45. 44 would be 38-3, the male pig. He'd be the real thin belt. That'd be Trust Fund, the boar at Schwecky's that, my goodness, I did buy a contract. Why didn't I buy 3? I don't know if anybody saw Schwecky's sale the other night. He sold some. It's interesting because this one's a Trust Fund. Picture this, No Stranger. And he sold some Trust Fund No Strangers. Male pig brings 85,000. Gilt, that maybe is the neatest baby pig picture I've ever seen, brings 17. Anyways, exciting stuff here. The 40 is a Trust Fund picture, this as well, but grandma would be timber. 44 and 45. 44 is the male pig, 45 is the Gilt. We'll see if they'll slow down so we can see them.
Man, these things are good, guys. Focus back in here because these are incredible. I actually text Weston not even 3 or 4 days ago and said, what do the Trust Fund pigs look like? And they don't disappoint when you get here, guys. These things are so proportional. They're so correct in their build and the way that they're put together. I don't even want to try to separate them because I think they're maybe not the same, but their quality is the same. These things use their hind leg and their front arm so well. 2 really, really good ones that need to be looked at. These 2 are incredible.
Yeah, I was probably a little late to the party on trust fund and realizing what that boar was up there at Schwecky's, but I'm in now. Guys, they're both incredible. This male pig over here that maybe we'll get on camera next, I'm in. I don't care when you need to show him. Just buy that one. His proportions, his balance, his bone in relation to his mass up high. You know, that's one of those things, Weston and Ralph, we talk about bone. We always think, oh, we got to have the biggest leg one. No, you have to have bone that matches the mass on their body, and it has to be in proportion. And yes, it's more fun. You think, okay, if I have a really big legged one, I can, add more mass up high. That doesn't always necessarily equate to a better pig. These right here are big boned, heavy structured pigs that use it correctly, and it matches their body type, their muscle pattern. I'm in. I don't know when he's ready to show where his ideal endpoint is. Doesn't matter. I'd have that one on feed.
Again, these have not been down long enough to get tamed, but the moderate, thin-belted male pig would be tag number 44. The gilt would be tag number 45. Same top side. Sows are both picture this is, but different litters. We have the 38-3 and then the 40-3. We jump back in this next pair with a familiar litter that we've seen a lot today. These are both going to be 24s. Tag 46 is 24-6. Tag 47 is 24-8. Both gilts here, Woke, Tricked Out, Dirty South, Little Bro, Red Alert. We've got a pair of calicos here. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if it'll show up. There's one that's going to have just a little more sandy color and maybe a little more black as well. That would be the 46. The one with the black ear on one side that's kind of unique there in her color is going to be 47. The one on camera is 46, if that helps you identify.
Guys, we've seen a bunch of these, and I remember that. Now I'm thinking about it. This sow line is known for having a whole bunch of these things, and so this have this many good ones in one litter. For those of you that might be gilt shopping to keep in your herd, look in, because when they're this deep, those are the kind of females that you want to own that make this many sellable pigs. That one that Luke's on there that's showing off for the camera, what an incredible silhouette from the side. Her angles are so correct. Her use of her rear pastern and her hock is really, really good. And then if Luke can get her to stroll out for us, that one's proportions and being able to maintain that look when you get on the move is so incredibly hard to do, that when that one's head comes up and her ears go back, everything stays together. We talk about, jamming their head in the air and, that made them better looking. No, this one stays together, and her soundness is so correct. When she's moving, she's correct when she stops. I think this is one that you need to look in on. Probably flexible in her feeding window. I think you can lean on this one if you want to. You can go slower if you need to. I think that's one that's very, very good. I've put some stars next to that gilt as one that has breeding value and then still has enough muscle to compete with the boys.
Yeah, you keep rolling out 24s. I mean, how many did you have? Did you have 3 Landry sows, nursed them all too? I mean, my goodness, it's always nice.
The first Elevate, we sold 18 out of Bonnie.
That's right. 18 of them. That's right, out of Bonnie. Yeah, way back at the first Elevate sale. I remember that. Yeah, when you said you had 18, and you got almost all of them raised. Had 21, weaned 18. Those were the days, right? Yeah. Now we have pairs sometimes. But, guys, Ralph said it exactly right. When they're deep, consistent litters and they're all good, high-quality pigs, you don't have to buy the most ready one to have the best one in the end. You can just windrow these throughout this entire sale for the right money, whatever fits your budget, and you're going to be happy. Not much more needs to be said. This 24 litter has been incredible today. High quality.
So again, that was 46 and 47. The one that probably spent more time on screen because she was cooperating would have been 24-6, 46. The one with the black ear was 47. We're going to look at another 24 gilt in this next set, and then she would be tag 48. She's the crazy chromed one there that's starting to sniff the stick. And then the other belted gilt would be tag 49, 31-4. Again, these are both Wokes, different litters. Let's see what the boys see here.
Whoa, guys! These things come out here, and they're a little more moderate in their kind. We've seen a bunch of their litter mates, so these ones are probably on the smaller side of those litters. But the quality did not change. These things are very, very stout. The one that's on camera over there with Landon now, we've seen a bunch of those. This is probably as moderate in a length of body standpoint of ones that we've seen. I know she's pounds lighter, but she's more moderate in her length of body probably compared to some of those, and is very, very stout. And her color pattern, I think, only makes her more attractive to me. I think this one's more memorable because of that color pattern, and that's hard to say because there's been calicos, but I mean, this one is going to be one that I'll remember on the drive home. I think that we're probably not putting enough emphasis on how popular the Woke pigs are, how important he probably will be in the next couple of years. And Weston's offering a whole bunch of gilts, a whole bunch of male pigs that all have Woke on the top side. These things are look very, very good. I'll let Ben talk about them.
We've talked about the 24s. Obviously, they did their job. The one on camera right now, 31-4. She's skinny. She's green. She's ginormous legged that carries that column of bone all the way to enormous feet. She is stout in her skull and yet still extended enough. If you want to miss her on sale day, don't do it for very long, because I can take that one home. And in about 60 days from now, as we roll out to the Elevate Jackpot Show the end of April, good luck, because I'm winning Class 1. That's all there is to it.
Again here, this would be a pair of gilts. The chromed up one would be from the 24 litter and be tag number 48. The more traditionally belted would be 31-4 tag 49. I did want to mention, which if you've been a longtime customer, you know this, but in the spring here, we did not, out of this set, we did not save a single gilt. Everything's offered. Of course, all we can hope for is that on a few of them, when they're done showing, that we get a chance to put them back in production. That's just how we try to do it in the spring. All right, we jump to a trio of gilts here. These would all be 19s. We saw those 19s earlier out of the Boble sow. We talked about them extensively. They're going to be just a nickel hard to split maybe on screen, but she's kind of solid black-legged, maybe just a little white at her foot there. Again, that's 50. And then 51 and 52 are kind of over there in the corner. We'll split them as we get closer. 50's over here. We'll start with her maybe.
I think I mentioned it earlier when the first two of these came through that we had some people from that we helped feed one of these, and this is probably what that gilt looked like. Early on, she was one that was a little skinnier bellied to start. But guys, look at the pieces that matter besides their depth of their flank. The size of their bones, the use of their hind leg, their proportions are very, very good. And that gilt that we fed from Weston last year did nothing but get wider, stouter, burlier, and denser. And this is what she looked like. So don't count these out because they're a little skinnier in their flank. These are still going to be very, very good. Read the pedigree, and it just makes sense that these are only going to get stouter. Three gilts that I think are similar in their kind and size, but look in, these ones are going to get stouter, and then no expense spared on getting these made by Weston.
Now, last time I checked, I believe there's a lot of good nutrition and feed programs out there that can add more bulk, more mass. We have more tools in our toolbox nowadays, gentlemen, than we've ever had before relative to how to get these things fed. So if they're skinny, it does not bother me one bit, because the intangibles that Ralph just talked about of build, balance, bones, and just the pedigree on the bottom side to know that they're going to perform, you're going to be fine, guys. grab a hold of one of these. You're going to probably be happy. You might be under the money on sale day, but you're going to be high on quality when it's all said and done once you get these things home. 3 very nice gilts right here.
I did want to mention, I about forgot, one of them does have a little bitty extra dew claw that's up high. That would be tag 50. You're going to want to pull that, I would guess. Some people, but I probably would. We missed it as a baby. It's one that would probably just snip. Really quick, grab again. These ones would be let's see who's kind of
How about now? How we got it now? All right. Guys, the pair of Durocs that you see here, quality is so good. As we try to move maybe the male out of the corner there. There we go, and we'll get him on camera. I want you to really study that one at the ground. His foot size and spread in his toes is so incredibly good. He's big in his arm. He's round in his body shape. His proportions from the side all match. And as we talked about earlier, hip and hind leg in that litter is absolutely incredible. It drops correctly from his pin set all the way to the ground. I wouldn't be afraid to feed either one of these, depending. I don't care what your end goal is, whether you're saying, hey, I want to win a breeding gilt show with the gilt, I want to win a market show with the barrel, whatever it may be, they can fit the bill. I'll let Ralph add any comments.
Guys, that gilt is one to talk about for sure. Those ones that Weston sold at Elevate a couple of weeks ago were very well received, I think is what he said, but they were flat incredible. I think that they set a tone that this one lives right up to in terms of her length and extension from her blade forward and still being so robust in the center part of her body. Guys, this one looks like a high-end breeding gilt that's going to be, that wins early and wins late. She's wide when she comes right at you. I think that one's a pretty special. Look in on these Duroc gilts.
Sorry, guys, I stood up a little bit and we lost audio there. I'm not sure exactly where we lost it, so I'm just going to backtrack just a nickel and tell you pedigrees here one more time in case we missed that. So the 53 litter gilt there that's closer to the camera is going to be a Promise Keeper work of art hammer. The work of art females are so important across the country. That boar we lost way too soon. We're very fortunate we have her. Again, that comes from the litter that we sold some at Elevate. The male pig who's going to be a man, that would be tag 54. He's another one of the 34s like we saw earlier. He is the slightly bigger than maybe some of his mates, but his extra burliness, I think if you know, gives him a little flexibility there. So again, 53 and 54 that we're looking at there. Okay, we're going to jump back to some crosses here the rest of the way out. This pair would both come from the 35 litter. Again, that'd be Driving Force, Young Love, Believe in Me. It's really fun across this litter to see, I guess, all three of those boars represented kind of just in the phenotype we get to evaluate. Tag 55 would be 35.3. That would be the barrel closest to the camera, or the male pig, I should say. Tag 56 is 35-2, the perfect belt there on the back.
Refocus in here on two crossbreds that I think have a big feeding window. I think these things are sound and built right that you could get on them and still make early August county fairs very easily. But I look at both of these, and the first thing comes to mind that I look down at the paper and I see Driving Force Young Love, and I know that these things are going to be dense and stout. They're going to be moderate in their length of body. And then you turn and you look at the hogs, and specifically the 35.3 barrel they're so incredible good looking in front of their blade. They're later in their maturity, but their muscle is still there. I really like that kind of broken, he's not broken belted, but the longer belted barrel there that is on camera. That guy's look and proportions from the side look elite to me. If you can get him to drive that way with that head like that and his proportions, that one I think could be a sleeper in this sale in terms of just the elite pieces that he has. I think these are two very, very good pigs.
Yeah, pedigree matches. It looks like it worked out here. And I'll talk about the other kind of darker pigmented male pig there that's running up toward the door at this time. Guys, sometimes we, as we talked about earlier, man, we have to have them, so stout and burly and opened up as a baby. And this one's maybe not, but probably gives me more flexibility and comfort in a feeding program of saying, I can just get right after that one and get the feed bucket to him, and we're never going to be in trouble. He's going to come. He's going to bulk. I'm not worried about that. Feet and legs are perfect on that guy. He's tall-bladed. He's right in his proportions. Those are the kind that make you look silly here in about 100 days because they come on and just wax people.
Again, Mate Brothers here, 35-3 is 55, 35-2 is 56. We jump down to a pair of gilts here next, and tag 57 is going to be 20-6, Wide Awake, Make It Happen. Tag 58 is going to be 17-8. She'd be a breath taker. Here I am, Kingpin. 58's the solid black one. 57 is the chromed up one there that has, I guess, a real wide belt.
These two come out, and they represent two highlight litters for this sale. So we've looked at all of their litter mates that were a little bigger. I think Weston probably puts these two in a pin because they fit from a size standpoint together. The quality is the same as their litter mates, guys. These things are a little smaller than maybe the other 20s and 17s that we looked at, but the quality is still really, really good. They're short-bodied, they're sound and dense. They fell into a pin where they're together because they're both from elite litters and are a little bit smaller. Refocus back in here. The black gilt that's on camera now is so wide in the base of her sternum. She's flat there, she's square to her knee, and she really reaches out there and puts those dew claws behind her tail when she gets on the move. I know that there's a stigma on black pigs. It really doesn't matter anymore, guys, because they're the same. This one is incredible in terms of her flexibility, her elite pieces. Remember the pedigree that she comes from. I think a really good one, good pair here.
Yeah, probably both just a little bit different in what they bring to the table, yet represent their quality of the litters that we've talked about there. So don't overlook them. They may be a little greener and skinnier than some of their litter mates that we've talked about earlier. We'll go to the wide-belted gilt right here, a wide-awake gilt that if you study that one's roundness of body, it matches in one that you know is going to bulk up. And as that one matures and you just put her on feed, she's going to come with more than enough when it's all said and done. And yet her hip and hind leg and feet and legs hit the surface correctly and comfortably there where you're never going to have to worry about her being a problem for you. Re-echo what Ralph just talked about. Two high-quality litters we've already talked about, some maybe bloomier litter mates. These two you shouldn't be overlooking just because they're a little later in the sale.
Again, that was tag 57 20-6, the chrome gilt, and tag 58 17-8, the black gilt. Next, we're going to jump into a pair that's a little bigger. It'd be the first time today that we've talked about this one litter that would be Buckle Up Sunset. Mama would have came from Winmore's there and was one that wasn't cheap at PT a couple years ago. She would have raised a really good blue a year ago. But anyways, that's the one on the syrup. That would be tag 59 1-5. And then the really sharp looking, I guess she's slightly narrower belted here, that's on the red stick, would be tag 60 27-5. Again, a trick clone, acoustic on Misconceptions Mom. We would have bought this one as a bred from Heimer.
Guys, the one that's on the syrup here is the one I'm going to talk about. And as a buckle up, that one is got all the things that made that boar famous and still is so very correct in the way that her angles are put together. She's short in her body. One that I especially her hind leg. Look at the size of I mean, not only does she have hair dripping off of her hind leg, but she has a really big hind foot. And if you remember that blue barrel that showed last summer, that one was so moderate in terms of his length of body, but still so long off both ends of his skeleton and so sound. I think this one, this mating just makes sense. I understand why Weston did it this way, because that barrel represented so much quality and was so correct in his build that putting Buckle Up on that one's mom and just creating more extras, I think is makes this gilt very, very special. I gravitate to her as I look in this pin.
Yeah, I'll talk about the other one there, the traditional belted gilt, litter number 27, tag 60. She goes back to the acoustic Misconceptions Mom, you know, and I understand that program at Heimer since we've invested some money into that as well. And again, I'm going to talk about if you guys need pigs that you can take home feed and be ready to roll there the mid-July on. This is another one that I think you better look in on, because she looks like the kind we can just take home, and as she fleshes up, she just gets better every step of the way, right? That one's length ahead of her blade, angle to her blade, front knee set. She's going to have more than enough power when it's all said and done, guys. If you're still in search for ones that are going to be ready there, the latter half of July, she needs to be on your list.
Okay, again, that was tag number 59 is the Buckle Up wider belt, and tag 60 would be a trick clone, slightly thinner belt there. Next, we're going to jump into a pair of male prospect mates. They're going to be tagged 61 and 62 and 38-1 and 38-2. Real quick, I guess, on this extended pedigree, Mama would be, picture this no stranger, would be a mate to one that we sold to the Walker family that would have made sale at Denver, which is never an easy feat. They're not just this past Denver, but the year Willie judged it. And I guess we saw that real thin-belted, cocky one earlier, Trust Fund. These would be two of his maybe bigger, more ready mates. Let's see, to help you on the camera, tag number 61 has the white tail with more white there that's on the stick. 62 would be the one behind him. He's not a traditional belt by any means, but he's a little more belted for clarification purposes.
Guys, these things run through the gate, and they're very impressive. I'm going to probably think about Trust Fund on the whole way home, because I think these things look so incredible right now in terms of their width of their chest, the flatness of their sternum, and then it just continues to explode and get more powerful as you work back from there. And then just being correct and cute in their skull and extended from their blade forward. If these two want to get their heads up, I think that they are ones that are so proportional and correct. I don't know if I can pick a favorite. I think these two are very, very good. Their muscle's right. Their bone is big. I'll let Ben talk about them a little more, but these two are refocused back into the sale here because these two are very good.
Yeah, I'm going to throw you two under the bus. You gave me a hard time about sale orders, I think, at Elevate and all that kind of stuff. go ahead and put these down here toward the end. I don't know what you're doing, Weston, or maybe it just speaks to the quality and depth that you brought out here today for your sale. A little different than the litter mate we already talked about that I absolutely love. These two have got some punch now. Their backs are big. Their pen set is big. I'm telling you, you can take these home because of their proportions and look and the amount of muscle they have. You don't have to get in a hurry here. They're going to have more than enough punch their entire life. You can probably coast them, and then with about 3 days before the show, let them sniff a little, high-protein feed, and they're going to have more than enough to come out there and wallop some people. I would look in here. This has been an excellent litter, and the quality is fantastic. That white-tailed one that's on camera right now, we can go ahead and just feed on that one. He's high on my list.
I do think fun combination of kind of out there shape, but with just the look that's wild, right? Trust Fund is a wide awake son. I would tell you that these are way more ready than most of that pedigree in terms of just early shape, which is kind of exciting that they do it with still comfortable skeletons. But again, that was 61-62. The one with white on his tail was 61. The solid black tail with the crazy front third was 62. 62. All right. We're going to stay in the same pin in the barn. The next pair would be tag 63. Again, one of those moments where I couldn't help but go trick clone on tricked out. That'd be 36-2. And then tags, and that'd be the gilt. And then the male pig would be tag 64, 40-1. Again, another trust fund litter. He's the one that he has been getting chewed on a little, and he's got just a little scratches, if that helps you identify him.
These two come out, and guys, if you're, I would put these we talked about earlier in terms of tweeners, that you can feed on these kind and get to a county fair. You can hold them back and make it to state fair. I think that these have a lot of flexibility, or buy them for both and just figure out where they need to let them decide for you. These two are very big-legged, guys. They come out, and the size of their ankle and the density of their toes is very, very good. The one on camera that Landon's got over there now is one that's really rolled up high, and he's flat in his sternum. He's big in his feet. If we can get him to get his head up, he's being kind of a knucklehead. But I think that, sorry about that. That gilt is really attractive and still has just the amount of density and burliness that you're looking for. Uses her hind leg and her rear pastern correctly. These two are pretty exciting. And tricked out. If you want to hunting for pedigrees or a gilt to take home, Weston's already made that decision for you and pulled the trigger to go tricked out. Her flexibility on breeding is pretty fun to think about.
Yeah, I'm going to have the camera pan over and jump on the male pig over here in the corner. He's deciding to be kind of a knucklehead and not work, and don't let that detract you from that one's extras. That one's feature is absolutely incredible. We talked about column of bone going all the way to the ground and a big foot and toe spread, and yet that one comes at you like a Mack truck. You probably don't have to push that one very hard to have enough substance and power when it's all said and done. He's probably my speed. If you want to have a man when it's all said and done, we talk about manly ones that win big shows, that's him. Right there, the trust fund deal has already been very impressive today. There's another one that I think you can jump on and be very happy with in the end.
All right, so the gilt would be tag 63, the male pig 64 there. You guys can't see it, of course, on camera, but this is a pin that is a little crowded back there. There's 6 of them in it, but I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite pins in the whole barn. This is where a bunch of those 22 females are kind of stashed, and we're going to bring them out in pairs, and then there is a 21 in there later, but we're going to start with tags 65 and 66. We have 22-6 and 22-8. Again, these are picture perfect. Next contestant, the King Little Bro. So Mama would have come from an awesome litter. Her sister won our county fair. Grandma would have raised the reserve middle at Denver, same sow line that would have won Angelo. Goes back to that little bro sow that is responsible for so much here. To help you identify him, the one on camera is going to be 66, 22.8. The maybe darker black one that has less white is going to be 22.6. I will say we've been trying really hard. We're going to try to get pictures of almost every lot up too, just to help people identify them and stuff. Be watching for those. Those will be coming soon to kind of help you know who you are looking at.
Weston made an announcement earlier that they were just going to, they were running every gilt out here for sale and not keeping any. Guys, if these are the two that, and if there's two more coming that look like these, if there's a pin of 4 of these, how easy would it have been to just throw them in a pen and then be excited to go out and feed pigs every day? Because if you have ones that look like this, you might sprint out there to feed them every morning just to make yourself start your day off correctly. These things are short-bodied, they're dense in their makeup, and they're so incredibly good in their build. Talk about the angles to their blades is probably the part that stands out to me as they walk across the surface. That we talk about a hind leg completing its function and going past their tail. They use their blades and their front arms so incredibly well. They pull and reach with the front side of their skeleton. That one that's on camera proportions so well and still so attractive. These are the kind of gilts that go out there and they treat you right. They go home and they just get better every single day, and they feed easy because they are ones that aren't too extreme one direction or the other because their quality is so good. This pair I'm very high on.
It's scary. Ralph and I must think a lot alike. We probably spend too much time talking to each other, the three of us, because I had the same thoughts in my mind about, we talk about how tough it is to make elite females and try to build a program and how many you have to keep and replace every year. And Weston's out here saying, you know what? We're offering up the best ones. Here you go, guys. The opportunity is here not only to win shows, but capture elite genetics. Not much more needs to be said than what's already been said about this pair out here. Jump in where it fits you.
I know we're getting long. We'll try to finish strong here. We only have a few more lots. The dark black, less white would be 65. The one with a little more white would be 66, 22-8. We're going to dump 2 more sisters here. We're going to have 67. Oh, excuse me. I totally forgot. The sisters are in this pin as well. These are the brothers, 2 more brothers. 67 is 22-1. That's going to be the bigger one out here with the broken belt. 68 is 22-3, the crazy cocky one that was on the flag there. Boys, what do you see here? We'll get to more gilts in just a second.
Well, you talked about putting the gilts back in your keeper pin and being excited about them, but the reason that you remember them is what their brothers did. So the one that Landon's got on camera now, that guy is, that's the kind that are fun to. We were talking about fun to feed the gilts. It's fun to feed that one. You run out there every morning, and when their neck is that long, their pin width is wide from behind, but still use their hind legs so correctly. That guy comes out the gate and then throws his head in the air. I like that one quite a bit. We talked about ones that are down the sale that you can still find and sneak up on the rest of your competition. I like that barrel quite a bit.
The quality of this set and the sale is on display right here. Weston and I chatted yesterday in our preview there at our farm about, man, it'd be really nice if we just had a whole set of 100 belted males just to run out there at a sale one time, right, that are all high quality. Well, here we are at lot, what are we at? 67 and 68 out of 74 lots, and we have 2 chromed up belted males out here that scream with this much quality. I don't care which one you like. The one that's on camera right now over there, that kind of broken belted one, that one has 67. That one has stoutness, his skull shape, his length of neck, his proportions are right. Guys, jump in here on this pair. It's been a high-quality litter from top to bottom. I can see why Weston's excited about the 22s.
just to contrast him a little bit there. 67 would be slightly bigger, bulkier, more flesh today. 68 is the one that the white goes over his back with just as crazy look and shape as we have, a little skinnier bodied. Next, here comes 69 21-4, Moneyline Secret Society Blurred. And another 22 in tag 70. She would be 22-5. Picture perfect next contestant again. Real quick, I guess, on that 21, we talked about just the skull and feature earlier in a mate. These would have come out of the bread we bought from Sloan there. Moneyline, I guess, is a board that we need to continue to use. Love what he's done for us so far. 69 is going to be the maybe darker black, bigger one. 70 is going to be a little more white here by the door that's on camera now.
Just to talk about the one that one that Luke's got there that's on camera, that one is so incredible in her proportions and the look that she has from the side. If he can get her to keep moving, she really uses the full range of that hind leg, guys. It puts it down and goes all the way past her tail. She's attractive up front. I think her color pattern, I mean, you pick which side you want to show, because I think she still is good on both. That one's really round in her body. We sometimes want to talk about cage, and we get attracted to ones that are deep in their flank or ones that are burly and wide through the center part of their body. This gilt's kind of both. I think her length of body lends to her being so correct in the shape, her body shape. Her flesh is appropriate. I really am attracted to that little gilt. I think she's very, very good.
I'll just comment on the other one, the Moneyline gilt right there. Moneyline, again, is a boar. West and I just talked about that and agree. Probably continues to need to be used because they come with some extra punch. That one's back shape is aggressive right out of the backside of her blade. She has plenty of natural spread and power going away. Again, that one from a feeding job, a feeding window standpoint, you don't have to get real crazy and wild with the feed bucket there. She's always going to have enough. And then she's still a naturally elevated, tall-bladed one that's extended ahead of her blade. And those two things sometimes are tough to combo. She does that. Neat pair of gilts there. I'm with Ralph. I mean, that little gilt strikes a fancy there. A 22 litter again that, let's just call what it is. That's been one of the highlight litters for me.
Okay, so that was 69, the bigger gilt, 70, the little gilt. We're down to our last pin in the barn here. We're going to jump with 71 and 72. 71 is going to be 26-2. Well, we'll see. We'll wait for him to come out here. There we go. I think we got him on screen. That's going to be the white, predominantly white pig is 71, 26-2. He does have some blue on his eye and a little bit on his ear there. Man, it's hard to make blue ones. I don't have very many, as you can tell in this set, but here he is, and he comes at you as a Witness Last Dance Red Alert. I would tell you that his mama is very fun to look at out in the sow lot. Witness comes from a sow that I think is already done a lot. She's going to do even more there for Laird's. That one is way good. And then 72 is the Perfect Belted Pig, 26-1.
And we talk about trying to make colors on these pigs and as a secondary thing to quality, right? What if you have a sow that makes you a light cross that's really great and a perfectly belted one in the same litter? I mean, you only need one. Only you need one sow, apparently. Guys, the blue one's the one I'm going to talk about, and I think that it's so hard to find these blue ones these days that are quality. And this one is so extended. He's still, but at the same side, so dense. He walks around the corner over here, and I jump to the front of my seat because not only is he the color that everybody's chasing, he's the quality that everybody's chasing. He's so square in his knee. He's robust in his blade, and then look at the side, the shape of his head. that thing is going to be dense in a color that it's hard to make them like that. Guys, if you're looking for a light cross that's going to compete at the Colorado State Fair where we have to have him blue, here he is. We've been looking for him all day. They're hard to find. He's right there.
Yeah, I echo exactly what you said, Ralph. I mean, we almost had the same discussion yesterday, Weston, about blue pigs that have density and all the feature. I mean, Ralph described him extensively well. That one should be on your short list regardless of color. Period. And yes, I'm jealous too. You know, you make a perfectly belted one, which they're so easy to make, right? Heimer and I joke about that all the time. Well, it's easy to make those perfectly belted Hampshire marked ones. No, it's not. And then we come with this much quality, and we'll talk about the sire real quick. Witness, that's probably a board we haven't talked about a lot yet. That one needs to be used more. That boar has done an incredibly good job. I've seen a bunch of really good Witness pigs this spring, either online or in live sales. This pair screams to me that, I would jump back into that pedigree. Sow's good, boar's good, two good pigs.
All right, last two of the, well, let me cap those. White one's 71, belt is 72. Last pair of the day, we're going to have tags 73 and 74 in here. I told the guys before we started that I put this one in the very last pin because it's kind of one of those just milestones. This will be the last pig direct pig out of the Little Bro that we ever sell, and like you say, she's just one of those that has made our program and has been very important to us. This year we gave her a shot with Moneyline. I joked with the boys. I bred her with one dose, two. I split it in half because I wasn't ready. And anyways, she still did what she does every time. Had 10 pigs. Here's a gilt I'm selling. We sold some at Elevate. I don't know. This one needs to be a sow at my house. I should keep her. She is burly. She is stout. Anyways, that's money line on the Little Bro sow around here. The wider belt with more white would be a 20 litter, a bigger one, I would say, maybe the biggest in the whole litter. That would be Wide Awake, Make It Happen.
Weston does the thing that is fun to do with a sale order, is to end in a bang, because these two gilts, I think, do that. The one that's on camera now is, look at the, hopefully it comes through in the size. She has a ginormous back leg. I mean, look at the size of that thing from behind. She's square. Her littermates started the sale, and Weston ends the sale with a 20. I think this one is very, very good. She's pounds bigger, so you can get in on one of those 20s that's a little bit bigger and more ready to go. I think that one jackpots early. She runs to a county fair and does well. And then there's even some extension into the fall on how good that one is, a very high-quality one. I'll let Ben talk the Little Bro sow. I guess the only thing I would say, or the gilt that's out of the Little Bro sow, the only thing I would say is look back at your piece of paper, and there's a reason that Weston goes 4 generations deep on the 2 litter, on the 22 litter, because that Little Bro sow means a lot around here. She paid probably for most of the bills around here. She's been around for a long time, and her influence means something. He's selling a gilt.
Weston, remind me again, the bottom side of that Little Bro sow? Black Ops, yeah, I believe that was Puddles. That's right. So I'm going to brag on Weston since it's the last pair we're going to talk about here. The Black Ops Puddles gilt he bought from us, I don't even know what year that was. She was solid black. She had a wicked hind leg, and Weston said, I've got a plan. And bred her to Little Bro. I think that was her first litter, maybe. And built around that Little Bro sow for multiple generations here, has made champions at major shows in America, guys. Not just, the local country fair. Major show champions. That's what a true breeder does. Weston's a true breeder. Both these gentlemen I'm sitting next to, I had the fortune of being able to coach both of them, be on teams there at NJC with me. I have the highest regard for both of their ability. It's proof right here with Allied Genetics of what he's built. We've talked about the pigs, the chromed up one that ends the sale. Yeah. If you don't have a pig by lot 74, I would feel very good about buying the last pig in the sale because that's an elite female.
Thank you guys so much. I know that got long in spots and frustrating maybe to follow the camera. I'm sure if you watch the whole thing through in one setting, you're exhausted. Come see us in person. We're doing previews again tonight, Friday night, Saturday night. We'll do a big one there at 10 a.m. on sale day Sunday. Sale starts at 2. We're excited to work with you and appreciate your time, guys. Thanks so much. Signing off from the Ally Genetics Show Barn.